northern Alabama or the Madison County area, it is go time. The HRRR is the most accurate weather model of its time. It doesn't get more accurate. It predicts everything sort of correctly. And then the next coming hours, I believe that its runs will only become worse for northern Alabama, as that is the trend. Snapshot. Alright? We love to see it. We're going to zoom, actually. Alright, we're going to do a continental U.S., because I don't have zoom unlocked. And we're going to take a look at this. HRRR. Alright, actually, let's do the COD forecasting models. And let's do pivotal weather for soundings. Alright? So I'm going to set this up. And as I'm setting this up, I'm going to talk to you about the situation that could ensue and what you need to be prepared for. So we're going to open up the HRRR. Alright, as you see, 18 hours only. Now, on certain Z times, the big ones, 18Z, this was maybe like 6-7 hours ago. Alright, and I'm just going to set this at 45, and we're going to put this at composite reflectivity. Alright, I think that's where we need to be at. We need to be at composite reflectivity. So you can sort of look at what the atmosphere is looking like. Alright, we're going to set this back to 43. And I'm just going to give northern Alabama a timeline using this model. This is my favorite one to use. Alright. I think this is the beginning. Alright, so here's our snapshot. Now we're going to go here. We're going to go to hour 41. Okay. So right off the bat, you're looking in northern Alabama. What are you seeing? Alright. Well, you're waking up. This is about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 a.m. time frame, okay? And chances are, if you're in Florence, Russellville, if you're in Athens, Huntsville, all right, Riverton, Newmarket, Scottsboro, if you're in any of these places in high northern Alabama, okay, you're in Coleman, basically if you're in the Tennessee Valley, chances are you're going to be waking up to tornado warnings. Because as you see, the HRRR signals pretty large. I mean, once you start seeing these purples and stuff, especially in this sheared environment, even this one down here looks very concerning. But as you start seeing these types of convection, what you're looking at is a chance for spotty tornadoes and just embedded severe thunderstorms. Like, this will put down a good amount of hail. And for all of this convection to move north, believe it or not, it's going to take 5 hours. Only 5. For all of the, look at how many supercells the HRRR is showing. All these individual thunderstorms are capable of producing tornadoes. And just look how many. 5 hours of constant back-to-back tornado warnings is what I'm thinking. So to prove that, we're going to go 5 hours in the future, and it has lifted. All right, it's out of here. Goodbye. And once it gets into Tennessee, you're looking at rain with a squall line that's going to be sitting in the back. All right? Start looking at these storms. All right? This reminds me of April 27th, 2011. I'm not saying it's going to be like that event, but as this rain clears, you start getting these supercells. Look at this one. Pretty much the same spot as it was 10, 15 years ago. Looked almost like a Coleman supercell here. You got a couple embedded little supercells. These will likely be tornado warned. And you got a couple down here that look also pretty dangerous. And in Mississippi, a supercell outbreak is going on after these storms clear, as the atmosphere here is extremely robust. And to prove that to you, what are we at? 46 hours. We're going to take a sounding in Mississippi so I can show that to you. Alright, so the area where I'm saying is robust is right around back in here, where a supercell outbreak essentially is going to ensue. The only model that actually is important, all the rest of the models, though important, are showing different versions of the same thing. However, the HRRR is the most accurate. It's been the most accurate. It's the one I like. Alright, so you look down here in Mississippi, and this is one of the most incredible soundings I've ever seen. 71/68. You're going to feel the energy in the air if you're in South Mississippi. The honograph, the wind shear, the tornado potential. Showers, rain showers are just going to be flying through, and they're all going to be rotating. Some even tornado warned. Look at your Cape values. You only need 100 to 200 joules per kilogram to issue tornadoes. We have 2,000. That's crazy. Look at your low-level instability. No caps. All thick instability. Especially when you get to the mid-levels and upper levels of the atmosphere. Thick stacks of instability. Those thunderstorms are going to get tall and stay like that. Possible hazard type, PDS tornado. You only see these with the higher echelon events. Honograph. Good clockwise turning. You can also see that turning in the thermodynamic profile with wind barbs. Alright. Now we're going to take a sounding at this same time up here near the Huntsville area, and you're going to see a stark difference. Huntsville. If you live in Huntsville, this is almost a saving grace, because these storms, this doesn't look good at all, but you're saved. That's all I can tell you. If you consider yourself, instead of getting hit by multiple supercells that are producing EF4 tornadoes compared to showers and thunderstorms that are producing maybe EF1 tornadoes, and if you consider that being saved, then in that case, if you're in Huntsville, you are saved. Look at this honograph, though it can support large and violent tornadoes, doesn't have an incredible amount of wind shear after all these thunderstorms have gone through. Alright? All these, just basically, you're just going to be dealing with a lot of morning tornadoes, is what I'm thinking. Now, there's models that suggest that it could only be rain, which is also a outcome. However, I do think there'll at least be some tornado warnings. And if the HURR plays out, which, like I said, is the most accurate one, it's not looking so good if you're in Huntsville, Alabama. 68 over 65, all right, 2,000 joules per kilogram, or mid-1000s. Tornado. This is very bad stuff. Very bad stuff. Now, your honograph, the only thing that's limiting this from being a slam dunk for a span, I would say, about of an hour, because this atmosphere with such powerful forcing is just going to explode, is that at least your honograph doesn't look all stretched like it was in Mississippi. So we're going to take this an hour forward. All right, 46, 47. We're almost at the end. But you start to notice that these thunderstorms, and it's kind of difficult to get mind you, supercell outbreak going on in Mississippi. Once you start seeing these black boxes, look at this crap. Look at all these storms that are just hooked in shape, that are just flying across Mississippi. These are all tornado producers. Look at this line of them down here near New Orleans. Just a line of these hook-shaped thunderstorms. Kind of looks crazy. And then look at Huntsville. All this rain is flying over to the north of you, and your atmosphere starts to clear for these. If you're in Red Bear, you're getting hit by supercells right now. They're moving through your area. And if you don't know what a supercell looks like, I will show you. This is some film from Lauderdale County of a classic supercell that produced, at this time it was an EF4. But was an EF5 earlier, and you could just sort of see what it looked like. Oh, it's not Lauderdale, it's limestone. It'll pop up. Okay, so here's some footage of the types of storms that we're talking about. I'm not saying they're going to look exactly like this. I'm saying they have the capability to look like something like this. Alright? So, when you see this, you're going to think, oh crap, that's scary. Alright? Because, well, it's scary. Alright, so you see, there's an EF4 somewhere in here, and you'll see it later. Let's turn up the volume.
I've never seen one like that.
Oh my God.
I've seen a little twister before, but I've never seen anything like that.
So usually when you see a thunderstorm like this, you're suspecting a large and violent tornado. And I think the whole morning on Saturday is going to look somewhat like this. Maybe not. This might be more rain wrapped. It might look like this when the afternoon storms go through. But you generally don't want to be seeing something like this, especially when something peeks out of it like this.
I understand why the storm chasers just...
Alright, that's not what you guys want. That was a violent tornado. It destroyed Tanner. Okay? And these are the types of thunderstorms that we were watching out for. And just to show you the comparison, if I pull up Phil Campbell tornado on radar. Alright, or I could pull up Cordova. Alright, you don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but here's a good image of it. Alright, so this is as it was going through Tanner. You can see a big debris ball. And I want you to notice that. Notice the shape of this thunderstorm. Here, there's Harvest. Right, here's Greenbrier. All right, and this is around when the video was filmed or started filming. And I want you to notice something about this violent supercell. All right, you got violent tornado. Notice the shape. Now, this is not to scare you. Now let me show that with some of the storms that are coming up on the herd. All right, you see this shape? Here's a more concerning one in Mississippi. You see that shape? Right? You see all of these shapes down here? You see the shapes embedded in this? There's one right there. There's one right there. Now, look at even just the light thunderstorm activity, still with that creepy shape. And if I show you this Phil Campbell tornado, see that banana shape? That's because it's taking an inflow. So the fact that we're seeing stuff popping up like that on the radar models, well, that's not a good sign. And if I take this all the way forward, you can really see this is literally just midday. And the atmosphere in Alabama is exploding with energy. It is the highest. Well, it's probably not the highest. It probably gets even higher. Because if I actually play this back a little bit, 45, 46, 47, all of this rain and thunderstorm activity, which by the way, this will all be severe with embedded tornadoes, is also going to go into Tennessee, leaving us with this disaster. Look at all these supercells. This is not what you want to see. In fact, the National Weather Service diligently doing their job. All right, if I go to NWS Severe Weather Outlook, all right, thunderstorm-wise, which is pretty much all we can look at, all right, has put out for most of the Tennessee Valley and Mississippi as well as Tuscaloosa, the highest risk physically. This is the high. Oh no, you can go up to 60, but well, it's one of the highest. I would say it's all right. This will be 60 probably tomorrow. All right, so we're calling it right now. Northern Alabama, especially central Alabama, central Mississippi, South Mississippi. You're under the highest risk possible, physically possible, for a severe thunderstorm. The highest. It does not get any higher. You will not see it get any higher for a long time. It doesn't get worse than this, folks. It really doesn't. New Orleans, you're included in that 45%. Most of the town. You're dealing with a situation in which long track, violent tornadoes could happen. Violent. Tornadoes that last for extremely long times, cause extreme amount of damage, and kill an extreme amount of lives, is what you're looking at. Now, of course, with severe weather outbreaks, there's always a chance that doesn't take place. But when you're dealing with the top two possibly highest numbers, usually only see 15%. 15% is still a lot. Ohio, you gotta watch out. But 45 freaking percent is unimaginable. It is ridiculous. You're talking storms that are so tall that their shadow cast across, because there'll be fast-moving, low-to-the-ground stratus clouds the whole day. It's going to look scary. When you wake up on Saturday morning, it's going to look freaky. All right? You're going to see brown to green, gray, low-level clouds, and upper-level clouds above that moving about this fast. So if you can imagine, about this fast. Just streaking across. And moving fast, they're going to be accompanied with dark areas in the distance that are all big thunderstorms. And you're going to hear your phone going off a lot. And then once that goes through, midday, if you're in northern Alabama, central, south Alabama, you'll end up seeing is once that moves through, the clouds will even get maybe, not calling it, but maybe some small breaks in them. Then as that keeps on going, it's just going to keep on getting darker and darker. And by midday, you have these super dark streaking clouds with embedded supercells all over the place. and you're just waiting for the big line of supercells to move through. No, it's not going to be a quasi-linear convective system if you want to use fancy terms. It's not going to be a quasi-linear convective system. It's going to be a dry line with massive supercells on top of it that are crazy big. And you can sort of see that, and the HUR is hinting at that. In fact, the HUR is hinting at multiple rounds. Especially in southern Mississippi, you have 1, 2, 3 rounds of supercells. And as one round if you're here in Florence, but this could also be training. You got to watch out for this boy down here, this one down here, this one down here, here. There's nowhere to run. They're all moving in. There's nothing you can do. There's even some isolated ones here north of Atlanta, and this scares me. If you get convection over here, you're cooked. All this rain is likely associated with an anvil, for God's sakes. These storms are going to be that massive. And just to prove that to you, look at your average cloud cover. All right? Notice how you're starting to get some breaks. You're actually almost all the way clear down here. All right? Almost all the way clear down here. Your atmosphere, especially over here near south of Birmingham, though up here it'll be just as dangerous, you still have these low-lying stratus clouds. And just to show you what I'm talking about, I'll search up fast-moving, low to the ground stratus clouds, just to kind of show you. All right, stuff like, hold on, I saw one that kind of looked like it. That is what I'm expecting. All right, stuff like this. You're just gonna have these low to the ground. It's gonna be lower than this. These are still a little high, and that are just gonna be moving quickly with just scattered showers. I need everybody to be on their highest alert. All right. If there's an alert that you can go high, go higher than that alert. It is the highest level of alert. All right. If I turn on cities, I mean, you can just see the impact. Look at, I can't believe there's a 45% on day freaking 3. That's crazy. Did they just update it? Yeah, I think they just updated it. Did they actually? What? Updated 19? I don't think it's updated. I can't tell if they did. Just watch out. That's about all I can say. There's a moderate risk out there for day 3. I guarantee, you know what? I'm going to make a bet. I'm about to post this video in about 20 minutes. I'm going to make a bet. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, all right, and you look at the Storm Prediction Center, the SPC outlook for the day 2, all right, I think there'll be a high risk for South Mississippi. And all of northern Alabama will be under moderate risk. I'll see you guys later. Good luck, stay safe, and remember, tune back in for my live streams. On this day, I'll probably be live 15 to 16 hours. See you then.